Okay. All righty. So welcome guys to our Harmony 311/S5 weekly webinar every week at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And what time is it over there, Aslak, by the way?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. So you're 6 hours ahead of Sensei, 6 hours. So 7 o'clock. I'll try to remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember that. And Jerry, what time is it where you are?
11 o'clock.
Oh, so you're an hour behind me. So you're in mountain time.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So this week's topic is sponsoring people. Okay. And I pulled up the definition of the word sponsor to see how it relates to what we're doing. And one of the definitions is a person or organization that provides, and you can fill in the blank from there. Okay. Another one that I came across is a person who vouches or is responsible for, and you can fill in the blank from there. Now, the question is, once we sponsor someone, and this is a broad topic, this sponsor thing, because there's so many different ways that people look at sponsoring or recruiting or prospecting, whichever noun you want to use. What kind of sponsor do you want to be to your people? What kind of people, Arletha, is that one of your folks? Arletha?
I'm not sure.
Hello, Arletha. I don't think she has her mic up.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. We'll let her work on it and see. Oh, I know who this is. This is one of my people.
Awesome. Welcome.
Yeah. Arletha, can you hear me? Now she has her. Let me see if I could unmute her. There she is there. Arletha, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hold on 1 minute.
Okay. I can hear you. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, I just came.
Okay. So all right. Thanks for coming aboard. I see you got my invitation that I sent to you. And yes, we do this every Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern, Arletha. Okay. So what I'll do after this webinar is over, I'll add you to our Facebook group. Okay, so that you can, as we post things in the Facebook group, you can go ahead and see those things. And there's always a link in the Facebook group that you can use to connect to the webinar on Saturday. And sometimes we might, depending on what the situation is, we might start up a Zoom, during the week, sometimes. So that will be a place that you can go into the Facebook group. It's called Harmony 311/S5, and see things that are taking place during the week. Okay, so we're talking about sponsoring again, and the question is, what kind of sponsor do you really want to be for people that you bring into your business? Let's look at some of the things that take place out there when people sponsor other folks in. What are some of the things that you've seen, Sensei, from people that sponsor other people in? Because we see a lot of different things going on out there.
Well, when I first started, when I started online, I should say, because I've been in other things offline, and it was a little bit different how I approached things then. I really didn't know what I was doing then, until I, really had an actual good sponsor. To be honest, I went through a lot of really bad sponsors before finding someone who was good, and this was still offline. But what made this sponsor good, and we'll start from there, is that this person actually was recommended by someone else. That was one thing. Was my dad recommended this person because I was actually facing some health challenges, and this was a sponsor for someone who had some products that could help me change my lifestyle, you know, change the way I did things and actually help me. But what this sponsor did that made me realize what a good sponsor this person and mentor I actually is that she first showed she cared. Okay, she actually, you know, literally didn't even talk about business stuff, just wanted to get to know more about who I am as a person, what goals I had, why I was, you know, going to use those products. Okay, and what I wanted to accomplish from doing that. And then touched on, you know, you could do this as a business if this is something you're interested in. That was pretty much the beginning of our conversation. And as things came on, you know, but what she did, once I actually decided to take this on as a business, it was like an immediate, okay, so this is how you're going to start sponsoring people. This is what you do. I had, you know, welcome letter. I had a game plan. You know, I had things to do, a list of things to do to actually get started and to help others get started as well. And so when I decided to actually do something online, I actually did sponsor shopping. I literally, you know, followed other people, saw what they were doing, and joined up and teamed up with someone that I felt had a game plan, okay, a blueprint, some type of, you know, training involved, some type of community where, you know, someone who was brand new, who didn't know what they were doing, could actually come in and start learning things. And I knew that that was the type of sponsor I wanted, but that was the type of sponsor I wanted to be. I wanted to make sure I had a game plan, a blueprint, you know, so that when people decided to join me, I had something to give them, and I had some value to give them, like so, as far as training and things like that. And very often when people don't know what they don't know, they don't have that. Like, or, you know, and again, there's two ways to look at it. The people who don't have that, kind of like me, where I flounder a little bit, and then, you know, realize what kind of sponsor you want or what kind of sponsor you want to be. You kind of go through some trials and tribulations with that. It would be nice if everybody could have a good sponsor. It doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. I mean, my first sponsor in the first company I ever joined left the company 2 weeks after sponsoring me. Okay, I was left to figure things out on my own, you know, and, you know, there was a series of that. And then I had, you know, companies that went down, or I didn't know what the heck I was doing, or I gave up, and, you know, lots of things that went on. But if I could go back and start over, I would definitely want to, first of all, be a sponsor that I would want, okay? Or, you know, if I'm going to join something, I'm going to go with a sponsor that actually adds value, something that I can learn things from, and someone who has, you know, I tend to be a kind of like a team player. I'm looking for someone who, if I'm going to join someone, they're not a loner, I guess. You know, I like someone who has a sense of community. Like, they don't have to hold my hand. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay. I just want someone who's actually going to be part of a community, someone who has value to share and is willing to share that.
Well, it's like this group here. You know, we communicate even during the week.
Yep.
Collaborate with one another.
Yep.
That's that community that you're talking about. So that you know that you aren't out there in this wilderness and you don't even know where the next watering hole is.
Yeah. Right.
So, you know, that is very important. And you touched on some other things. You I'm going to start at the beginning here.
Go for it.
When you're new and you're just coming into this industry, you may not know what a good sponsor looks like, okay? Because you don't have any experience in that area. All you know is that you were presented this business opportunity that looks pretty good, that is something that is of interest to you, and the person that's sponsoring you into that business opportunity, you have no idea who they are, what they're about. But you like what you see in that business opportunity, okay? And let's think about this, folks. We look at it now, since we've been in the industry a long time, we look at it now, it's like, I need to know who that person is, okay? Not so much the business opportunity, because I can find a business opportunity anywhere, anywhere. Business opportunities abound all over the place.
Yep.
But the person that you are aligning yourself with, that's more important. But I was like, as we first come into this business, into this industry, we're looking at what we can gain, okay? And the things that we're looking at gaining, it's from a monetary standpoint, isn't it? Okay? We have no clue when we're new in this, have no clue, like Sensei said, what's the business about? Is there a game plan? Is there a blueprint? Is there a system in place? All of those things, that blueprint, that game plan, the systems, the plan that you follow, that is created by an individual, isn't it? So the person that we're aligning ourselves with, if they don't provide those things, and we don't know that those things should be in place, Renee, you used the word, we flounder. We try to figure it out on our own, and we have no clue what it is we need to figure out when we're new, when you're just starting out. Arletha, I don't know what your experience is, in this industry, but one of the things that we've discovered is you need to associate yourself with someone who can help you get your business started, who can show you the ropes, how to use that system, what that blueprint is all about. So you touched on some pretty important things there, Sensei, because now you know what a good sponsor looks like. Yep. Asla, your take on this sponsors thing.
Well, it is 3 different kind of sponsors. You have the sponsor who just want you into something so they can get the commission on you. That's a bad sponsor.
Yes.
You have the sponsor who get you in and maybe not react so much back to you, but they are there, but they don't follow up on what you do. But so you have to do the work yourself to grab what they are giving away. So there are some misfits in the communication there. And you have the sponsors who giving value, giving, for example, a Facebook group, webinars. If they're a sponsor like I am under in the most thing, who are quite have many people under him, it's impossible to have one-to-one communication with everyone. But a Facebook group where he is are available, weekly webinars, for example, giving value, training, the 2 most important things. The business in itself is one part of it. But if you don't get and give that training, you are lost, basically, in the business. and the marketing zone, call it that. Yeah.
You know what? We've all had experience with the missing in action sponsor at least one time in your career, at least once. Aslak touched on it. They sponsor you in. I mean, this guy, you can't shut them up while they're trying to sponsor you in. Okay. I mean, they're available. And then once you get in, it's like, where'd the guy go? You know, I remember that happened to me last year. Oh, this guy, man, he was like Chatty Cathy, you know, bang, 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 bang. Trying to get me into the business. Okay, so, you know, I made the decision, okay, let me go ahead and join. And now the guy became someone who was very difficult to locate. Very difficult. I wasn't discouraged. I wasn't, hello, Ronald Hudson, how are you? He doesn't have his.
I think he just wants to listen, okay. Unless he.
Are you familiar with him?
I've seen him on some other webinars.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. He's gathering information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Not a problem. And you know, that's unfortunate that happens to people because a lot of these business opportunities are kind of expensive, you know, to get into. And you have a sponsor that disappears on you and you have no clue what it is you need to do. And this person, you know, is just not unavailable. And then Aslak, you, on your second type of sponsor, the guy is available a little bit, yeah, not there when you really need him, but they're there. That type of sponsor, and I'm thinking of a type of sponsor who portrays themselves as being very helpful, you know, will lead and guide you, and then their attitude changes, okay? Because they feel like you require too much hand-holding. And all you're doing is asking questions about this, that, or the other. And then you have that sponsor and they're always there. And we know someone like that, don't we, Renee?
Yeah, we do.
He's always there.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Always.
And I don't need to call his name because Renee knows who I'm talking about. And Jerry, you may know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
All you have to do is reach out to this individual and bang, there. That is so important when you get that kind of a person as your sponsor into whatever program that you're in with this person. Knowing that without doubt that person's going to be there for you. Okay, so back to the question again. And Gary, I would like to have you address this question. What kind of sponsor do you want to be? Aslak gave us 3. So what kind of sponsor do you want to be? Take that question on, Jerry.
Well, I've always, anybody I've worked with, have always been there to try and help them as much as I can. Some people, especially when you're brand new, you feel like you're totally lost sometimes and don't know what to do. So you have to either hold their hand completely or nudge them in the right direction. There's 2 things. And then, you know, he's talked about sponsors who aren't there. Well, when I first started in marketing at all with Carrot Bars is what I was doing. My sponsor actually died on me, so he's no longer there. But he was a great sponsor, and we had help from his upline who also died on a sudden heart attack here. So he was a person to be reckoned with, one of the top producers in the entire country. And so I had the benefit being mentored by them. And then I'm very lucky I have Renee as my sponsor here. So, and it works both ways. I think I've helped Renee on some things, and she's helped me a lot on some other things. So,
yep. It becomes a two-way street if you have that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember I told Renee about Zoom, and she was really reluctant to doing anything, and now look where she's at. So,
and this is why I call her Sensei, Jerry, because when I first met Renee, I was in a place where I wasn't familiar with EGN at all. Remember that, Renee?
Yep.
And I got in contact with Renee and said, hey, Renee, I need help with this issue here. And she jumped right in. And then she got a hold of Kevin and it's like, hey, man, I like this. I am in a nice place with these folks, okay? Because they're out there willing to help. And it's not something that they leave you with the feeling as if you're being a nuisance, okay? That's so very important. And as time has gone on, Renee and I have formed up a relationship where we can discuss the business things that are going on with us. And I like that. Yep. I like that. So what you said, Jerry, about hooking up with Renee, I know exactly what you're getting from her because I have that relationship with her too. And so that makes you feel good when you know that there's someone out there, Oslak, that you can always turn to.
You know, Renee told me, and she mentioned this earlier about, you know, not until she got her health problems solved over there was she, you know, able to really rock this thing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I've been working on some of my health problems here and having some good success, but it seems like when I'm getting ready to do something, something else always comes in, like my water damage in my house.
Yeah.
Nearly $18,000 worth of damage and that sort of stuff. But, you know, I'm progressing forward here. I'm looking at doing some things. I've made some purchases of some photographic equipment. It's going to take me in a different direction. I've been looking over this weekend at some YouTube channels some photographers have done, and I'm going to be doing some of the same things and somehow mix some of our other marketing programs in along with it. I think might be a real success.
So here we have another funnel hacker here, Sensei.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Photographers out there who all think they know how to take photographs.
Yeah.
But nobody knows how to sell them. If you can't sell anything, you don't make any money. So,
you know, I was talking to someone earlier this week, Jerry, and they were talking about on Facebook getting building relationships. I have no problem with that because that is a very important element. And then I started talking about with this person, well, what about the business side of your business? Those things that you will be offering people. And the reply came back, well, it's very important to build relationships. Yes, I understand that. I'm not disputing that. Okay. But what do you do after you've built those relationships? There's got to be another level that you go to. And that next level is sponsoring people into your business. After you've built those relationships, which is very important, you have to understand what it is people are looking for. Okay. That's a lead up to, I would love to have Arletha share with us what kind of sponsor does she envision herself connecting to. Are you still with us, Arletha? Okay, your mic is muted.
Yes.
Because you're new to this game, aren't you?
I just wanted to listen in on the webinar today.
Okay.
I didn't feel.
Okay.
I actually just got back off the road from Orlando. So
okay. All right.
I just got done from traveling 2 hours.
Not a problem. You're just welcome to, come in and listen in because you never know what you're going to pick up, what kind of information you're going to pick up. Okay. So now let's look at this. You have a business You have everything laid into your business. Okay, you brought in all of the different business opportunities that you may want to have. You have your autoresponder, all of that. You got your campaigns already designed in your autoresponder. You have your marketing system, whatever that is. You have your traffic source, okay? Now, for me, those 4 things that I just named off, your business opportunity, your autoresponder, your traffic source, and your marketing system, those are the 4 basic elements of a business online. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Yeah, 4 basic things. So now you have someone says, hey, I want to do business with you, because you've built that relationship with them over time, and now they're ready to make that move and join you in your business. You have those 4 basic components. I mean, you've tweaked and tested these things. You know it works. It's proven. There's a word that we hear all the time in this business: duplication. Duplication. What does that duplication mean? What does it mean? Sensei, what does duplication mean? You've got that person into your business now, and you want them to duplicate something. What is that? And what is your responsibility in that duplication process as a sponsor?
Well, as a sponsor, it is a responsibility to give them the access to the tools that they need to duplicate. Number one, by having a funnel, obviously, that actually makes sense. And the very beginning person can come in and, obviously they have to do something. They can't just sit there and not do anything, but it's got to be simple enough for that person to come and say, okay, I can, put my name, I can put my information in here to get this set up. And, duplication is probably what people talk about a lot. And some people think they have duplication, but they don't, because trust me, I've had what I thought was duplication and it wasn't duplication, because the beginning person had a hard time with that. Now, again, beginning people are going to be overwhelmed and have a hard time, period. But the simpler that you can make it to duplicate, the better. So duplication means, yes, you got to have some kind of marketing system, to have in place. You have to have a business. You have to have your autoresponder. You have to have a follow-up system, and you have to have traffic. Okay. And if these people don't understand that it's all connected, you've got to be the sponsor to give them that training and that exposure enough so that they do understand, so that they can duplicate it for the brand new person that they're going to be bringing in. Because if they're brand new, they're going to be bringing in brand new people as well. Okay. So you've got to have a system in place. Again, what I talked about from the very beginning, you've got to have a sense of community, because you may have a sponsor, okay, but for that brand new person coming in who doesn't know anything, who brings people in, sometimes your sponsor isn't the person that's going to be helping you along the way. It's going to be that community of people. And, when Aslak was talking about the 3 types of sponsors, there's kind of a 4th one. There could be a sponsor who doesn't know anything, but is doing the best that they can. But as long as they're connected to the community of people who know what they're doing, that's okay. So, a lot of people have this idea of like the perfect sponsor that they want to join, but it's not about the person, it's about the community of people, because you could have the best sponsor in the world and you do nothing and you can earn nothing. Okay. You could have the worst sponsor in the world and do fantastic, because you're the type of person that just goes on it and just, does what it takes to learn what you got to learn. So it's a touchy subject, because a lot of the people who are new are looking for the one who's making the millions, or, and And honestly, that's not always the best person for the brand new person. Sometimes it is. In many cases, it is because that sponsor has the tools and the training for that new person. But if you don't have that system of duplication, and all you do is recruit, but you don't have that follow-up type, your best sponsor is not always the millionaire. Okay, your best sponsor could be that person who is maybe not making that much, but knows enough to actually guide that person.
I think we talked about that once before, too, Sensei, is just because that sponsor is like this million, I mean, this guy's making $30,000 a month, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean he's a good sponsor for you. Doesn't necessarily mean that. As a matter of fact, the system that he may have in place right then and there is really geared for other people that are making that kind of money or somewhere close to it. So for the new person trying to get into that system, the cost for doing so may not be something that they can handle, okay? So you really have to look, it's like, okay, so I want to get in, but at what level am I getting in? Because I got to look at my financial situation at the same time also. How many people have you run across that have these great looking systems, but man, I'm priced out of it.
Yep.
Priced out of it. Has a fabulous system. You can see it because the more time we spend in this industry, we run into people like Russell Brunson, okay, yep, and Kennedy, Ryan Dice, okay, yep, Bamboo's main man, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah,
run into all these people, but to be sponsored by them, I might not be able to afford to get into that kind of program. Not just yet. That's something that.
And you're not even going to get access to that particular person personally. No. You know, Russell Brunson is not going to take you by the and answer your questions. Yeah. Great, you know, system, but you know, you're not going to get him, you know, messaging you or anything.
You need to know what you're doing before you even connect to a guy like Russell Brunson.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was like, you had something.
Yeah, many people, when I join a business, they look at the top and then think that there is a shortcut to the top or anything. But the thing is that, as I used to say, a farmer who plant a seed in the soil cannot harvest the next day.
Right.
You have to build the root system. You have to let the plant grow. It's the same with the business. If you have a business, you start up offline in a shopping center or in a store in the street, you don't get profit the first day. You have to get customers in. You have to advertise for your business in the newspaper or whatever. It's the same thing online. And that's the problem, actually, that many people see someone who flashing money or are very successful. And then they believe that, oh, I'm going to do that the next month, or next week only. The thing is that the people who are at that level, as Russell Brunson or those people you mentioned, they have been working for 5-6 years. It's a long way to get to this $1 million income. You really have to get dirty on your hands.
That's right.
To get that way so far.
You have to have all the successes and the failures. You have to go through that. There's no way around being in a situation where, well, that's not working, and let's try something else because that didn't work. There's no way around that. You are going to have your failures. You are going to have those periods in your business where it seems like nothing's going right. Those dry periods. The dip, huh, Sensei? You're going to have that dip. And then it's going to rise back up again. If And the only way it's going to rise back up again, ladies and gentlemen, is if you stay committed and not get frustrated, not lose hope. You just keep moving on. Now, Renee, you touched on something, and I wrote down this word, relevance. All of your business is composed of these systems that you bring together. And all of these little systems, like your autoresponder, that is a subsystem in your whole business. Because when you market your sales funnel, when you're running that sales funnel, what's one of the first things that you want that sales funnel to do for you? Capture leads.
Capture leads. I want eyeballs on that system.
Capture leads.
Every day.
But let's think about another subsystem within that whole system. How do you even get the eyeballs to your capture page in the first place? How do you do that?
Traffic.
So I need a traffic source. So I need to have ads running so people can see my ad and then come over to my website and opt in. Once they opt in, what happens? Once they opt in, another subsystem kicks in, doesn't it? Your autoresponder.
Yeah.
So people, us as sponsors, bringing people in, we have to explain the system and how it works. One of the things that I do, I constantly model everything out. I just draw it out. The whole system. Where does it start? Man, it starts, I can't do the system just sits there dead if I don't have a traffic source, if I'm not driving traffic to it. It just sits there dead. So people that you bring in, you really do have to provide some training for them on your system, because you want them to duplicate your system. Remember the discussion we had last week, Renee, about share codes?
Yep, we did.
A person that's new, just getting into this business, when you throw the word share code at them and they have this glazed look over their face because you just said a share code, their question that's in their head, even though they might not express it, is, what is a share code?
Yes, they don't even know what to do with that share code. Share codes are great for people just starting out, but they don't even know what that is and why they need it and what the significance is of that is.
So it's your responsibility then, isn't it, Sensei, to explain that to them so they understand what that concept is all about, what the functionality is, and how it's implemented and why it is implemented. But
if you're going to implement share codes in your system.
Yeah, if you're going to implement. We don't use share codes now, do we, Sensei?
No, we don't.
Yeah. If you're in the Power Lead system, you're going to use share codes. So if that is what one of your systems is, or one of your subsystems is, when people, you want them to pay out to get that system, but then you're not there to teach them how to use it. You're getting that commission on a regular basis because this person just used your affiliate link and got into that system, and then you're not there to show them how to use it. What's going to happen with that person?
Well, they're going to quit, most likely, or they're going to go to someone else, which is very often what happened with me. with someone else that I had as a sponsor, like people, like I wasn't even that person's sponsor, okay? But they would come to me because their sponsor wasn't available.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, there's two ways to look at that. Is, you know, some people would say, well, why are you helping people that you haven't sponsored? It's just my nature. When someone asks me for help, I provide help as much as I can. But what that also did is that actually helped me as a somewhat, you know, new person learning the ropes. It actually helped me be a better sponsor. Mm-hmm. Okay. It actually helped me to prepare for what I would be doing for when I actually had people of my own, you know, that eventually did happen. And they actually, you know, that helped me become a great knowledge base for people who actually did want to team up with me.
Now, understand this, and this is something that I learned a long time ago in my trainer days. Every time you teach a person something, you learn something yourself.
Yep,
okay?
Absolutely.
One of the things, and I think I mentioned this to you some time ago, Sensei, one of the pet peeves that I have is people coming into a Facebook group, they ask a question, and then you see all of these replies to that person's questions saying, get back with your sponsor. My thing is this, Aslak, Jerry, Sensei. If I have the answer and I can help that person, help them. Help them. That person came into that Facebook group and asked their question because they needed some assistance. I do not have a problem with assisting someone that I did not sponsor. What if that person that you just helped has a friend who also wants to get into business? And because you've helped them, that word of mouth advertising kicks in and they refer that person to you because they trust you, because you've helped them before. Forget about what their sponsor is doing or not doing. Help that person, because what does Zig Ziglar say? The more you give, the more you get back. I'm paraphrasing there.
You know, the more people you help, it obviously comes back to you.
Yeah,
it
comes back to you. So that is just one of my pet peeves. It is.
The old saying, I help other people get what they want so I can get what I want.
That's it. That's the phrase right there. Yeah, that's the Zig Ziglar phrase. And is that true or false? That's true. That's absolutely true. So this sponsoring thing that we're talking about today, it is very important, very important. And you have to really look at yourself and, you know, come to a conclusion about yourself on what kind of sponsor do you want to be? Because there's one important word that we can add to being a sponsor, and for me, that's integrity.
Yep.
If you sponsor someone in Aslak, you should be there for them. Agree or disagree?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's important to follow up with. I have two systems. I have one list where I just have the sales team, but if anyone join, I put them into another list. They get a different follow-up.
Yep.
They get a training part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No?
Mm-hmm.
So I make. I use the PowerLead system, by the way. I make a training site with videos, and also I give my Facebook and Skype and email, so there shouldn't be any problem to get in touch with me, because I can sit and censoring if anyone who not reach out to me need anything, help or any assistance of any kind. So so long I get a question, I answer the question, and also in a group I am we always used to answer people's question when they are asking for anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because you never know what kind of increase you're going to get back from, you know, answering someone's question or providing them with help. You know, people are into so many different programs. People are into, you know, you got this marketing system and that marketing system. You got this autoresponder, and people are using, you know, this traffic source over here. A lot of things we might not be familiar with, but if we understand the basics, principles behind any system, then we should be able to provide help. All marketing systems do the same thing. Okay. Some are more complex than others, so you may not be familiar fully. Well, heck, it takes quite some time to get familiar with the marketing system that you're using. You know, you don't come into that, you know, with all of this knowledge about it, but you learn over time. And so I believe it's our responsibility as sponsors to not leave people behind you, bring them along, but you also have to let it be known that this is not a daycare. Okay, we're not babysitters. At some point in time, people should have enough knowledge to really start doing their own thing. You know, Renee is a big believer in this. Hey, I don't mind you using my email campaigns when you're first starting out. You know, I'll share them for you. But at some point in time, you really want to leave the nest and start, you know, writing, creating, producing your own email campaigns. Because of what reason, Sensei? Because of what?
Well, because you want to brand yourself. You don't want to be branding the other person that brought you in. Yeah. You know, I harp on this all the time. Yeah. The sooner you start doing that for yourself, the sooner you're going to start sponsoring people, because you're going to have that conviction. You're going to have that authority and that, you know, brand out there for yourself that people are going to say, oh yeah, this person, you know, can help me. That's really what it's about.
That's what it's about. Yeah, that's what it's about. So as a sponsor of people, that is one of your responsibilities too, is to let them know that at some point in time, you know, you'll have to leave the nest. You have to do your own thing. You have to be unique in the marketplace. And the only way that you can do that is through your own voice. Through your own voice. So being a sponsor really carries a great responsibility, doesn't it, people?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility. And if people start hearing about you, your name's being dropped all over the place. Hey, Renee, you connect with her and she takes care of you. You connect with Oslot, man, he takes care of you. Brings you right along. You connect to Jerry Long, and that word starts getting around about you, and people, as they're watching your videos and things along that line, you become a familiar face, a familiar voice, a familiar name. People start connecting to you. Think about the first time that someone contacted you because of a video they saw, that very first person. What did you say to yourself?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, people are, I was like, wow, okay, I'm actually, you know, making an impact. You know, obviously I've inspired someone, or someone, you know, saw me as someone that they could turn to ask a question. That's the goal, obviously. You know, the first time it happened, I was like, oh my goodness, wow, they found me. Wow, that's awesome.
I know the first time it happened with me, it's like, this stuff does work. If you work, it does work. I sure would like to hear from Mr. Hudson, some of the things that he's heard today, and get a take on what Mr. Hudson, I know you have to be thinking about something and something that you picked up. Would you care to share with us, Mr. Hudson?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, dang it. I just put in a new webcam and I'm trying to figure out how to work it. So this is my first time on the Zoom with any of you. And I've been in the network marketing business since 1980, whatever.
Big time vet.
I started out with Amway, and I've been in Herbalife and never got anywhere with any of them except bought a lot of products and talked to a lot of people. And I sponsored a few, but nobody ever stuck around. So anyway, 2 years ago, I came across a couple guys and a couple Marines, and I've been following them all over hell and high water, I guess, for 2 years. So basically, I've heard a lot of things on there today that they all ring true, and everything you say is true.
So you've done the MLM. You go way back before the internet.
Yeah.
Way back before.
Now, go ahead.
Okay, now that you're online and you're using internet technologies in your business, what significant differences do you see with what you see now and what you use now compared to when it was no internet and you were out there marketing?
Well, I was in Herbalife, and we had a lot of places we could place ads in newspapers, and I did have a little success with that. But you always had to call them, and you always had to go through the spiel with them to get them to even talk to you. And again, there it was just a numbers game, just like it is here. And there was just one thing about traffic. I think it all comes down to traffic now, because just about any of us can figure out how to set things up. I'm still working on setting things up, a few things, getting my funnels right. But it was always hard to find people to talk to. After you buzz through your friends and family and your workers, the people you work with, after you buzz through all them 3 or 4 times, and they don't even, they run when they see you coming. It all goes back to traffic. And then what I've seen on the internet is traffic is there if you can just get it.
That is probably one of the biggest shifts in marketing when you look at the former days prior to the internet and today, is the fact that you can place yourself in front of millions of people using internet technologies than you could ever do when you were out there face to face. There are only so many people in your 3-foot circle, that 3-foot rule that they talked about. There's only so many people in there. Now it's global. It's global. And you're right, Mr. Hudson. Traffic. What does Rob Fraser say, guys? Keep slamming the traffic. And it is a numbers game. But if you keep slamming the traffic consistently, I don't know what traffic sources either of you use, but whatever that traffic source is, keep slamming the traffic with it. Keep slamming that traffic. Someone is going to say, I like Ronald Hudson. I trust him. I've been following him. Hey, Ron, what is it that you do? And now when they opt in and you start talking to them, Mr. Hudson, and you're true and honest and you maintain that high degree of integrity with folks, they'll join you.
Yep.
They'll join you. People can spot a BS artist from a mile away. But if your message stays consistent, what's one of the things that really is something that turns you off? For me, it's when I see a person jumping from this program to this program to this program. They never plant themselves anywhere. And they sponsored you into something, and then next week they're off to something else. And you're new, and you haven't even gotten yourself wrapped around the thing that you joined them in last week. And then the next week they're off to something else. They're chasing shiny objects. Man, you're trying to form up a business here.
I'm still reeling from shiny objects.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems like it's an incurable disease there, Mr. Hudson. Yeah. And you really have to stop yourself. You really have to be aware of that. You can get roped in so easy when you start reading about what this thing can do, and it's going to do this for your business, and you really have to stop yourself. Now, I don't have a problem. I do not have a problem. And I'm pretty sure Oslak, Renee, and probably Jerry does this too. I'll opt into a guy's sales funnel just to go through it. And, and then what I do that for is like, let me go and see what my competition is doing. Mm-hmm. And what little golden nuggets do you pull out of some of these things as you go through? Because you want to stay in their funnel and you want to see their emails and what they're doing. Especially when you know, hey, this guy's successful out there. I want to see what he's doing. I want to duplicate what he's doing. So I'll opt into someone else's funnel. Yeah. There's that old funnel hack, isn't it, Renee?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. But there, honestly, like we said in the beginning, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
You just make it your own. You just take those ideas and you make it your own.
And here's another thing. As I go through these people's funnels, I might decide, you know what? I want to connect with them as I go through it. But I'm not going into anyone's funnel saying that I'm going to buy something, that I'm going to join them in anything. I have to be convinced first that, yeah, that's something that I want to bring into my business. All right, so we're at 12:59 here in the Central Time Zone, 1:59 in the Eastern. It's what, 8:59 where you are, Oslak?
8:59.
All right, I got it. Yeah, I got it. And 12:59 where 11:59 where Jerry is. Yeah.
And it's 7:59 actually here, not 8.
All right. And Mr. Hudson, where do you reside?
His mic is muted.
I'll unmute him. Oh, he just muted back.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Where do you
live? Indiana.
Indiana? Okay. A Hoosier, huh?
Yeah, I grew up in Illinois.
Okay. Oh, so a Hoosier and then an Illini. Okay.
Yeah, I was an Illini first.
Okay.
Always Illini.
Well, I'm a Wolverine, so.
Oh, well, good for you.
Big Ten.
That's good.
Yeah.
Big Ten's good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Great webinar again, guys. This subject of sponsorship, you really don't hear people talk about this a whole lot, do you?
Not really.
Yeah. Mr. Hudson, thanks for joining us. And you're welcome back. We do this every Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern. So come back and join us again.
Yeah, connect with who. How did you hear about the webinar?
From you.
Okay. So if you want to get in our Facebook
Email.
group where we post, you know, the link for all these, and you must be on my email list, or you must have found me.
I am.
Okay.
Rob gave me your link, so
Okay.
a year ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Thank you.
Are you going
Somehow or another, I don't know.
Are you going to put it into the group? You're going to add it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's connect on Facebook, and I'll put you in our group so you can get updated on our things.
Mhm.
I think I'm in the group, so.
Okay.
Are you in our Harmony group?
I'm sorry?
We have a special group just for these webinars. So I don't think you're in our
I may
Harmony
not
group.
be in that one, so.
Okay. So yeah, we'll connect, you know,
Okay.
after this.
Great deal.
Right.
Again, appreciate that you showed up on the webinar there, Mr. Hudson. Oslock, you have a great evening.
Yes, I will try.
Okay, good deal. Mr. Long, take care of that foot and get your water damage squared away there. Get things back to normal. Thanks for coming aboard. Sensei, always nice seeing you.
Yep.
You got graduations and all that stuff.
That's all set. We're today. Well, actually, I have a party to go to later.
Mhm.
But yeah, but it's for someone else. I don't have to do any work there. I just have to show up and have a good time.
Okay. And I'll post the replay on the group sometime during the day. Would you get it into our YouTube group for me? Because I don't have access to that.
I will do that. Yes, I'll put it there.
Won't let me in.
Okay, sure.
All right. So we'll see everyone next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. You guys have a great weekend wherever you are. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.